Feel good news. Let's look at 42 powerful images from the U.S. Navy's iconic history. From the Battle of Guadalcanal to the patrols in the South China Sea, sailors have played an essential role in American security throughout the United States history. SEALs, Seabees, sailors, pilots, boatswains, and many more serve in the Navy, serving wherever they're called. To celebrate the U.S. Navy, we've pulled out some of the coolest photos from the archives. In the decades after the Civil War, America began a new era of foreign intervention, with the Navy leading the way. This 1899 photo shows sailors eating on the USS Olympia, which was the U.S.'s flagship during the Spanish-American War of the previous year. That's an old picture. 1899. Check out the table. That is pretty interesting. The USS Holland, seen in this photo from 1900, was the Navy's first commissioned submarine. That's very small compared to the submarines today. President Theodore Roosevelt ordered a fleet of U.S. ships to circumnavigate the globe from 1907 to 1909. The Great White Fleet sent an unmistakable message about American naval power. It's a lot of ships in that fleet. As the First World War raged in Europe, America rushed to build more and better ships, as seen in this 1917 photo. Wow. Could you imagine? Your job is to make those. Pretty awesome. And grew the ranks of sailors, as seen in this 1917 picture of graduation exercises at the Naval Academy. They look pretty excited. The last of the U.S. Navy's rigid airships, the USS Macon, performed scouting missions from 1933 to 1935. Navy blimp. Awesome. Since 1935, American ports have hosted Fleet Week, a celebration of the sea services including sailors, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen. Here, sailors arrive in Manhattan in 1941. Japan's surprise attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, spurred America's entry into World War II. This photo shows a memorial service for sailors killed in the attack. Sailors at Pearl Harbor worked to salvage their ships and restore the base. This picture shows the recovery of a Japanese midget submarine abandoned during the Pearl Harbor attack. Meanwhile, on the mainland, recruits signed up for the Navy and other armed services by the millions. That's patriotism. They were defending our country. Women also served the Navy through the Women Accepted for Volunteer Emergency Service, or WAVES, program. The U.S. Navy led the war against the Japanese in the Pacific. This 1942 photo shows the torpedoed Japanese destroyer Yamakaze, photographed through the periscope of the USS Nautilus. Wow. One of the most famous incidents in Navy history occurred at 2:30 a.m. on August 2, 1943, when 25-year-old John F. Kennedy's patrol torpedo boat was hit by a Japanese destroyer. 2 of Kennedy's men were killed in the crash. The Navy also fought the Nazis, as seen in this 1944 photo showing the capture of a German U-boat. That boat does not look very big that way. I'm sure it was. It just doesn't really look it. On August 14, 1945, Japan surrendered to the Allies, effectively ending World War II. The highly anticipated victory over Japan Day gave way to some uninhibited celebrations, like this classic sailor's kiss in Times Square. Only 5 years after World War II, America was fighting another war, this time in Korea. This 1950 photo shows the USS Missouri bombarding Korea's communist-held northern coastline in order to cut enemy communications. Those are 16-inch guns. The Navy has planes too, about 3,700. This 1950 photo shows a Boeing B-29 Super Fortresses dropping 500-pound bombs on a chemical plant during the Korean War. The U.S. Navy's Douglas Skyraider was known for being able to take hits and keep flying. Here's the Skyraider deploying bombs in 1952 over Korea. Beginning in 1964 and lasting for most of the next decade, the Vietnam War was the next major U.S. conflict. This Navy jet fighter shoots Zuni rockets while flying over South Vietnam. A crewman sits behind a machine gun while on patrol on the Gokong River. Fighting in dense jungle against well-supplied Viet Cong left American troops frustrated with combat conditions. It was after this war that post-traumatic stress disorder was officially identified. The Navy played a major role during the Cuban Missile Crisis, enforcing a blockade to prevent Soviet weapons deliveries to Cuba. This 1962 photo shows a Navy seaplane and destroyer ship shadowing a Soviet submarine. Two F/A-18C Hornet aircraft of Strike Fighter Squadron 74 above aircraft carrier USS Saratoga during Operation Desert Shield. You notice the big difference in where the ships have come from back then to today. Big difference. Operation Desert Storm, the U.S.-led mission to liberate Kuwait from Iraq, deployed 14 destroyers and 2 battleships. In 1991, the battleship USS Missouri fires at Iraqi targets stationed along the Kuwaiti coast. Here is one Navy pilot's stats marked on the side of his attack aircraft while deployed in support of Operation Desert Storm. They show combat missions flown, missiles launched, and bombs dropped. Oh wow. 23 combat missions. 6 P-bombs, 50. Rockeye, 73. Harm, 17. 1 walleye. Oh my goodness. Wow. In response to the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, the U.S. entered into a war on terror to eliminate al-Qaeda. The Navy's amphibious assault ship deployed in Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan and is shown dropping off a 5-ton truck. A Navy sailor working in an Expeditionary Command tests his night vision goggles before setting off on another night patrol through Iraq's waterways in 2007. A Navy Seahawk helicopter returns to USNS Mercy hospital ship after completing a humanitarian mission in the Pacific in 2008. Check out the hospital ship. This F/A-18C Hornet is the nation's first strike fighter jet and has a top speed of 1,190 miles per hour and comes in at a cost of $39 million per plane. A typical Navy air wing has about 14 of these on hand. Good to know. The U.S. Navy provides air, land, and sea support to the military. These divers searched the sea floor during a salvage recovery exercise in 2010. Navy SEALs leaped from the ramp of an Air Force transport aircraft during parachute training over a Marine Corps base in Hawaii. Exercises like this show collaboration between military branches. The U.S. Navy submarine force consists of 4 vessel classes, all of which are nuclear powered. In this 2004 photo, the crew of the USS Portsmouth enjoy the waters of the Pacific Ocean while deployed. It's got to release some steam once in a while. Get a little exercise. Gets a little cramped down there. They look like they're having a blast. The USS Enterprise, or Big E, is the world's first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier and has more steel construction than the Empire State Building. Though decommissioned in 2012, the Enterprise was once the Navy's largest vessel, with a 1960 price of $451 million. Wow. That's a lot now. Imagine back in 1960. The U.S. Naval Academy class of 2015 celebrates their graduation and commissioning ceremony. Many new officers will head to one of the 11 carrier strike groups the U.S. has posted around the globe. The amphibious transport dock ship USS Green Bay launches a rolling airframe missile for a live fire exercise during Valiant Shield 2016. Look at the flames come out of that baby. An AV-8B Harrier from the 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit takes off from the flight deck of the amphibious assault ship USS Wasp on August 29th, 2016. So I think it's amazing how they take off out that ship and land back on it. This August 29, 2017 photo shows a medium-range ballistic missile target fired from Hawaii's Pacific Missile Range facility. The missile was intercepted by SM-6 missiles launched from the USS St. John Jones. In this July 2017 photo, an FA-18F Super Hornet flies above the USS Gerald R. Ford, an aircraft carrier commissioned that year. The Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer USS Ross sails across the Mediterranean at night in this September 29, 2018 photo. It's pretty. A gunner's mate second class aboard a Mark 6 patrol boat fires an M2 machine gun in the Philippine Sea on April 12, 2018. Gotta practice. Gotta keep the practice up. The littoral combat ship Gabrielle Giffords launched a naval strike missile at the decommissioned USS Ford in this October 1st, 2019 photo. It was the first time the NSM was fired in the Indo-Pacific region. Sailors with Navy Special Warfare Group, NSWG-2, conducted an operation off the East Coast in this September 18, 2019 photo. Oh, that's beautiful sky. Look at that, it's gorgeous. And that is that. Let me know if you enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. I learned a lot. So let me know if you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment, like, share. Have a great one. Bye.